Hey, how's it going? Cinnabon here. It has been a long time. I'm so sorry. Twins, life, everything caught up to me at the same time. Well, let's go ahead and get back to that story that I was telling, the one with Elf. So, we're now into when Elf came to visit. And when Elf came to visit, it was very interesting. Elf stayed with us for 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks we were expecting them to be very, very good weeks. However, Zell did still have to work during that time, so a lot of it was Elf and I at the house, or Elf and I and Thor, and that's kind of where our story goes from there. Well, Elf came to visit, and I was extremely excited that day because I finally got to meet face to face this person who saved my life. And Thor drove out to the airport. Mind you, Thor lives about an hour away from where we were, so drove about an hour and a half to get Elf, drove them about 30 minutes back to our house, and comes in with Elf. And when they came in, I immediately came over and gave him a hug, and I was excited. Now, something I don't think I mentioned in the previous video was Thor and Elf were also in a relationship. Let's clear up that little web here. Elf was dating Zell and Thor and pulled me into the relationship with Zell and Elf. I didn't have anything to do with the Thor relationship at that point. Well, when Thor brought Elf back, Thor was excited because he was thinking he gets to spend time with his partner. And from all, every idea that we had, we thought that was going to be true too because Elf had 3 people that were there for Elf. That night, Elf, Zell, and I all went out to dinner. We went out, got something to eat. It was really quick, really easy. It was fine. None of us were awkward. None of it was sad. I still had no idea what the heck I was doing. But then again, do you really have any idea when you have your first poly relationship? And if you did, well, then I guess I'm just really bad at it. Then we go home. Things happen with Elf and Zell. And I sleep on the couch. And the next morning, Zell has to go to work. Well, while Zell is at work, Elf and I are hanging out and we're having a good time. We're watching TV, playing with my cat that I rescued with me. We drove up here with him. His name is Jinx. Thor's here too, and Thor's wanting to spend time with Elf, and Elf is saying no. Maybe they're tired. That's fine. I completely understand. If you just flew that far, then you're gonna be a little exhausted. Now, over the next few days, that whole thing repeats. We go eat dinner, come back, Zell and Elf go do their thing. I sleep on the couch. Thor is staying over for a while. And so we split the couch. It was a sectional. And it just repeats like that for a few days. But Thor is wanting to spend time with Elf. Elf keeps saying no, and Thor's starting to get a little upset. Not angry. I don't think you could anger this man, but he's a little downtrodden. Well, one night comes around and I can't remember if this was before or after. There was a D&D game, and I'll explain that later. Around this time, Thor was wanting to hang out with Elf and just take him out for dinner, hang out with him, something. And Elf had refused a lot. And Thor was really getting upset right now. He was really sad. And so I was comforting him. While we were sitting on the couch, I was comforting him, talking to him, telling him, hey, it's not you. I don't think that you did anything wrong. Zell brings Elf out in lingerie to show us. Mind you, Thor has been completely ignored for about 4 days. And I've been, kicked out of the room I was in to sleep on the couch like 4 days. This is a very weird move. And it wasn't Zell's fault. So we're kind of recovering from that while those two go do their deed. And then we crash on the couch. And sometime the next day, Thor has some business to take care of, so he drives out to his place, and it's Zell's day off. So Zell, Elf, and I all get into the car. I drive because I'm the one with the license. And we go to several places, but one of the most important places that we go to is Petco. Well, the reason it's important is when we go into Petco, I immediately want to go back and look at the cats because I'm trash. And so Zell and I go back there, and there's this little black cat. Her name originally was Venus, and she had that scared animal look, the one that says I've had too many families but never a home look. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Well, I leave Zell. He's in the room playing with her and stuff. And I go talk to Elf. Well, Elf starts getting really upset that Zell is looking at a cat because Elf wanted a cat that they found online and had been demanding that Zell get it for them. Well, Zell comes out with a big box and papers in one hand. He just got himself a new cat. And Elf throws one of the biggest fits in history that a grown adult can throw. How dare you? We were supposed to get my cat. And I'm saying, it's okay, Elf. No, you're not in this. This is his fault. So I start getting apologetic and backing off. Because I don't want to be involved in that. Elf looks at me and says, it's not your fault. He knows what he did. That was a very, very interesting day. Because we get home and we get the cat settled. Jinx gets used to this cat. And we end up naming this cat Hex. The cat didn't like Elf, but Zell and I still have this cat now. You might hear me every once in a while tell Hex to get down. But Elf was very, very dismissive and downright mean to Zell in ways that even at that point, even fresh from an abusive situation, I could say were not healthy. And Zell's just taken it. And then we get into their D&D game. I remember now, it was after. The D&D game was after all of this. During the D&D game, if anybody has ever played D&D, they would know there's a few certain types of people. Elf was one of these types of people. The one that wants to sleep with the DM's characters. That's all they want to do in the game. Elf... That's my reaction to the whole thing. Just, Elf kept flirting with and trying to get their way, and Thor, while he was in the game, he actually stopped talking for a while because he'd come back that night to play. And I could just tell he wasn't having any fun. Zell's heart was not in it, and the only one that was really having fun was Elf. And the rest of the days that week kind of continued like that, except I was not allowed to be around Zell virtually at all. Because from that point, if any time I was around Zell, Elf would have a panic attack, or disassociate, or something else. And mind you, I understand those are legitimate mental problems. But they started getting used in ways that made them seem like they were more than just an illness. More like, this is the way that I'm getting you to do what I want. Zell and I couldn't even talk to each other. I was not allowed in the bedroom unless it was to do things with Elf. And Elf, if I didn't want to do things with Elf, Elf would disassociate or have a panic attack or have a problem of some sort. And so I would grit my teeth and do what I needed to do because this person saved my life. And I didn't know at that point that this was wrong. I didn't understand. But what I did know that there was something off. And it only got worse the next week. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here now. You can stop listening to my yammering. Have a great day. And next time, we'll hear about the next week of Elf visiting.